Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're playing some rotation DragonCraft. This one is a kind of just storm dragon with a dragon ranch kind of top end, which was a little interesting. I thought, why not give it a go? It's been a while since I played just a straight up storm dragon, which focused more on things like Ruler of Skies and Arbiter of Skies as kind of the two big win condition cards. Otherwise it's just running a pretty standard bottom end of Disdain package with Poseidon and Raging Dragon combo, which is very heavily used in most dragon decks. So we're going to get right into this and check it out. So the couple of matches we do have for this video are going to both be against Dragon, which should be pretty okay. They're not a bad matchup overall to showcase this deck, as they're both reasonably slow for the original upkeep, unless you get a really good ramp setup, which happens, I would say, 5 out of 10 times, so at least 50%, yeah, so about 50% chance you're going to ramp well. It really does come down to your opening, and this isn't a bad one, getting both Servant of Disdain and Disciple of Disdain. Going second, though, makes it a little rougher.
Reporting for duty.
So with no other turn 1 play, I decided to go for a Disciple of Disdain, mainly just to put some pressure down. I wanted to be able to deal with any kind of little problems that might pop up. Not that there are many that a 1-1 can deal with, but it should at least draw some attention away from my face and limit the damage a little bit. Which, as I predicted, is exactly what they ended up doing. Now we really just need to be able to do something, so going for some draw was probably the only good option. Next turn should be much better when we can actually use an Evo and start pinging off most of their board. They did go all face though, which makes things much more interesting. I decided to just send an Evo to my Servant of Disdain, since we already have Disdainful Rending, which is going to give us, of course, the extra draw. So I may as well take advantage of it. And we've got another one. So we're going to get maximum draw out of this card. And still go for 5 face damage, which isn't a little bit of face damage, honestly. 5 is a very good number of face damage. That's not a bad one on their part though. They should be able to nearly wipe this out completely here. Well, they could if they do it a certain way, but whether they go that route, we'll have to wait and see. And they have, so they're going for a complete board wipe. Now for me, Servant of Disdain is a pretty good choice, since we can again go for an Evo and more draw. I'm glad we're ahead in play points. That was a pretty important thing to get. And we're looking at a very good turn next turn with Disdain there. Since they already pinged that 1 damage, I don't really have any other play, and I don't want to waste my Disdain too much, but since we end up drawing a second one, it's really not a big issue. So we should be pretty okay using it this way. I think that'll make a very good turn, and it should at least help us out a bit. Raging Thunder's a problem card, but not a problem that we can't deal with. Poseidon actually becomes a good way of doing things, since honestly, the worst case, they kill one of the wards. Best case, they hit Poseidon and it survives, since they've only done 3 total Evos. Own Disdain though, not really good. We're definitely going to be taking 3 damage from this. At least it survived. But Disdainful Rend, crippling my hopes and dreams, as always. Force of Dragon, not a good way to use it, but it worked. I mean, we got it out, and I managed to throw in the Raging Dragon as an extra Bane, just to deal with a potential, say, Poseidon or something. Not Poseidon, sorry, a potential Prince of Darkness or something they could potentially throw out at us. And we're starting to get set up for the end of the game now. We've got the Poseidon combo next turn if we want it. We've also got Zoe and Forte next turn if we want them as well. We are just 1 short though from really taking advantage of Zoe, so not going to be the play we make. At least Raging Dragon should do the job of protecting us. If our Poseidon can manage to stay up and they don't play any major wards, Zoe will just close the game. Or come very close to closing the game. Interesting, I probably would have went for Doting first, but that must just be me. And this is going to be lethal. Well and truly. Just a little bit of damage to finish off that round at least. Okay, for the next game, we are going up against Dragon again, as I mentioned, both Dragons. At least this is a Winter Cup winner, so they should be a reasonably decent player. And this hand is a little iffy. I don't mind it too much, but I'm really not a big fan of just leaving them all up. So trading out, of course, Raging Dragon. Poseidon is actually not a half bad draw. We are going first, gives us a slight edge for this match. Being able to play, of course, the Whitefrost. And the Servant of Disdain, which I actually think was the right choice going first. And it worked out pretty well, considering they did use their 3 damage, which means our 1-3 should be a little safer. They did get Dragon Oracle though, which puts them slightly more ahead of us. And I went for Enrose, even without an Evo, just because I could, and I want to play my Evo probably on my Omen next turn anyway, so it was really up in the air what I wanted to do. But we have got a few options, since I probably won't use Omen now next turn, thanks to this 4-4 that I don't want to have to deal with. We should pretty comfortably be able to go for this Enrose now that we drew that. That was actually a really, really good draw. And I don't even have to worry about this 4-3, just kill it with Whitefrost and not have to deal with it. Omen of 1, so they are playing an Omen of 1 deck, so Jerry at its finest. So we have a chance. I mean, Omen of Disdain should... actually, Omen of Disdain, not the right move. If I made that move, I wouldn't be able to use Disdainful Rend, which would then cripple me, and we wouldn't have some fun, that's for sure. At least this way, since we are at 18 health, I don't mind taking the damage. I can actually do fairly well. Was a little bit of a risk, but I think it's going to play out pretty okay now. Since we can take advantage of Omen of Disdain and Disdainful Rend, getting some damage in and of course protecting us. Overwhelming Crush and Geovor. Great. Geovor is not a fun card since it is a very high stat. Poseidon's really our only protection now. That might buy us a turn. Sending Zoe into our deck definitely helps. I mean, if I can pull off the Zoe play, we could be pretty happy. Pure Voice Dragoon. Moon and Sun. And there it is, Dragon's Mediation. Not surprising. Dragon's Meditation giving them the heal makes it a lot harder for us to make a comeback. At least Dragon Ute is going to let us clear the 9-8 easily. And we can still go for some draw here. It should buy us some time, hopefully. I also could have done this much better. I could have actually wiped the board and made a much better line of play. We can still get to clear the board, just not in the same way I was hoping. And honestly, if I had have done that first, I could have just got a lot more damage to face. So making sure I draw first would have been the right way to do it instead. And that top deck Zoe play, winning us the game. Very, very close. Definitely had me on the ropes there towards the end, but managing to pull off that top deck was the golden opportunity for a win. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This deck does fairly well. It's definitely not a cheap one overall as far as it is. There's 11, which is... oh, actually, sorry, it's 14 legendaries. So I've got to make sure to include the Omen of Disdain, I think. I think I've included it, yeah. So that's 13, sorry, 13 legendaries. I think. Oh no, I'm really bad at counting. Either way, 13, 14, I'm pretty sure it's 14. Either way, great, solid deck, does the job. If you guys did enjoy it, hit the like button, subscribe for more content, find the deck list in the description below. Until next time guys, see ya.